Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahay. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 61 to 65 of chapter 2. Tani sarvani sanyamya,
Tani sarvani sanyamya,
yukta asita matparaha,
yukta asita matparaha,
vashe hi yasyendriyani,
vashe hi yasyendriyani,
tasya prajna pratisthita,
tasya prajna pratisthita,
dhyayato vishayan pumsaha,
dhyayato vishayan pumsaha,
sangasteshu pajayate,
sangasteshu pajayate,
sangat sanjayate kamaha,
sangat sanjayate kamaha,
kamat krodho bhijayate,
kamat krodho bhijayate,
krodhat bhavati sammohaha,
krodhat bhavati sammohaha,
sammohat smriti vibhramaha,
sammohat smriti vibhramaha,
smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha,
smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha,
buddhinashat pranashyati,
buddhinashat pranashyati,
ragadvesha vimuktaistu,
ragadvesha vimuktaistu,
vishayanindriyaischaran,
vishayanindriyaischaran,
atmavasyairvidheyatma,
atmavasyairvidheyatma,
prasadamadigacchati,
prasadamadigacchati,
prasade sarvadukhanam,
prasade sarvadukhanam,
hanirasyopajayate,
hanirasyopajayate,
Prasannachetaso hyashu
प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु
Buddhi Paryavatishthate.
बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते.
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So we have been seeing the deep messages hidden in verse number 65 for the last few weeks. Now, when you don't have the depth in perception, these messages are hidden to you. But when you develop the depth in your perception, then what is hidden comes out, as it were. You're able to see it. Sometimes they show a piece of art where it looks like, let us say for example, just a kind of a forest which is full of trees and all that. But the artist, he would have drawn it, he would have painted it in such a way that there is some other picture hidden in that. The picture may be that of a tiger or a cow. It's very interesting. So I have seen these kind of arts where they ask a question. You're able to see the trees. Now where is the tiger, for example? Or where is the lady? Now you go on seeing it and you will be unable to locate the tiger so easily. Tiger means whatever the other picture which is hidden. And then when you keep on staring at the picture, after a while, suddenly you notice that what you're seeing as trees is only when you is only from one point of view. That is, if you look at it in a particular way, it looks like a cluster of trees. But the end points of the trees, the boundaries of the trees, for example, all of them together may be the shape of a tiger. The moment you spot that, then that hidden picture becomes so clear to you. But as long as you don't spot that, that remains hidden from you. And it's very interesting. Once you locate the hidden picture and you show the same artwork to another person and then ask him or her this question, what do you see? That person will say, I'm seeing trees. Okay, now where is the tiger? Can you spot the tiger? Now you will find that that person really struggles to find the tiger. But having spotted that hidden tiger, now it is very obvious for you. And the more that person struggles, the more you feel impatient, or you feel, actually it's a very funny feeling which you have. You wonder why that person is not able to see it. But you should remember that you also went through the same phase. As long as you don't see it, it is hidden. The moment you see it, it becomes very, very clear. It is the same thing with respect to these scriptural texts. The deep, deep messages are hidden to you today. A master who has taken the yogic approach and who has become a yogi penetrates and is able to eke out all those hidden messages. Now, having brought out the messages, it's extremely difficult to communicate. See, when a person is unable to see that pattern of a tiger, however much you tell that person that, see, this is the tiger's tail, he'll say, where is the tail there? I can only see a bush. This is the tiger's eyes. He will say, no, there are only leaves there. Because that is what he's seeing. But you patiently keep explaining, and then you also allow that person to explore with whatever tips you have given. And when that person goes on using your tips and he tries to locate the tiger, suddenly he is able to see it. So that's what happens even in spirituality. The master, with a lot of unconditional love and patience, goes on giving tips, giving indicators. Now, every tip which is being given, actually when used properly, will help you eke out the full wisdom which is hidden to you today. But what is important is that consistency in your sadhana. See, that person looks at the art for a few times, and then he or she gives it up. He says, no, I'm not able to locate the tiger. Then that person will never be able to see that hidden picture. That hidden picture reveals itself to a person who has the patience to keep looking at the picture even though he or she is unable to locate it at that moment. See, understand this very carefully. I said the master is very patient in explaining. But for the student to absorb the wisdom, he requires enormous amount of patience. The patience is both from the teacher's side and from the student's side. Because the problem is very clearly seen by the student, but the solution is not seen. The verses are very clear, the translation is clear, all these things are there, but the hidden messages, when I say hidden messages, again, I'm not talking of mere intellectual messages. I'm talking of hidden messages and secrets about your life. They are all there, which is what we are trying to expound through this yogic approach. But since it is hidden to the student, it requires a lot of patience to consistently reflect, to consistently keep using these tips and practicing using these tips in life. It is practicing all these. So you have to consistently move towards something which you are unable to see and experience today. That is the difficulty in spirituality. When we talk of self-realization, God realization, enlightenment, whatever points are given about enlightenment, that is still dark to you today. But these indicators, these tips are very, very useful. So with patience, in a consistent way, if a student keeps following everything which the master is giving, then suddenly the experience comes. And when that person sees that hidden picture in the art, you know how joyful that person becomes, how excited he or she becomes, you know. That is something which is indescribable. I'm now literally talking of that experience, the higher experience of the infinite. See, even when we say infinite, it is just a word today. But for you to really experience that is something totally different. Like in the scriptures, you know, it is said, Aham Brahmasmi, means I am that supreme Brahman, supreme self. That is a Anubhava Vakya, that's a statement of experience. But when you try to pursue and your goal is to experience that Brahman, now what are you trying to experience? Actually, you don't know. The very definition of infinite is something which is not countable, which is not knowable actually. Because the intellect itself is finite. The instrument with which you can know is finite. So that is the challenge in spirituality. That's where surrender to the master, devotion, all these things help. You require a lot of motivation. And the master goes on providing that motivation for the student to do the sadhana on a consistent basis. Whenever he finds the student slackening in the sadhana, then he is a little stern. The master is a little stern and strict to bring him to the center. And whenever the student goes to the other extreme, he or she becomes over anxious about the results, then he uses gentle methods and calms the student's mind so that the student is able to travel in the path. So when you are doing the sadhana, don't look for immediate results. You have to diligently apply yourself with full enthusiasm and motivation. The results are for sure. That is why he says he means indeed 100% sure. He is giving 100% guarantee. Anyone who practices all this is bound to reap the benefits. But it will happen gradually. That's why I gave you the example of seeing your face every day in the mirror. Even though changes are happening, you're unable to look see the same changes because the changes are so subtle, hidden. For the subtle changes to manifest takes some time. So every Sunday when you're listening to these great truths, when you're applying your mind with devotion and when you're receiving the higher healing Shakti, and then when you're diligently doing your daily sadhana, the Yoga Sankirtan, what will happen is slowly your energy pattern will start changing. Your karmas will start getting burnt up. And these empowerment courses which we are having every now and then, they will be of a tremendous boost in terms of burning up your karmas. See, the karmic burning up happens with the fire of wisdom, the inner fire of wisdom. Now there is a big difference between verbally saying something, intellectually understanding something, and experiencing something from the deepest core. So it is easy to say, everything is God. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am that infinite. But that is only verbal. Then intellectually you are able to understand a little bit. But these two things will not burn up karmas. But when you start absorbing that energy slowly, energy of these great truths, that takes a while. As the energy starts penetrating the deeper layers of your personality, slowly the karmas get burnt. So no doubt in the scriptures it is said that when you gain this wisdom, all your karmas will be burnt. But what they mean by wisdom there is experiencing these great truths. Not just simply understanding something. You know, a few years back, a person came and met me. He was a very knowledgeable person. He had studied the Bhagavad Gita, he had studied many Upanishads. He had studied many other scriptures also. And he was a Sanskrit scholar. So he came to meet me and he asked me this question. He said, sir, for many years I've been studying all the scriptures. But I'm not experiencing that peace of mind. When I go and sleep, that sleep is always disturbed. I'm basically an angry person. I'm unable to control my temper. My family members, all of them tell me, and I'm always in a denial mode. I keep telling them, no, I'm not angry and all that. But deep within me, I know that I am not peaceful. So he asked me, what should I do? First of all, why is this? That in spite of being exposed to the scriptures for so many years, why is it that the inner transformation is not taking place? And number two, now what should I do? So then I told him, see, when you say I have exposed myself to the scriptures, I have understood the scriptures, I have been studying the scriptures and all that, you're only talking of understanding it at the external level. That is not going to burn up your negativities. That's not going to burn up your karmas. Now, if you really want transformation, you should learn this yogic approach. So he asked me, now what should I do? I said, first stop studying the scriptures for a while. He was a little taken aback. He said, I should stop studying now. I said, no, I am not yet finished. When I say stop studying the scriptures for a while, what I mean is, stop studying the scriptures externally for a while. start attending the Sunday discourses, you will get a hang of what I'm saying. Because in the yogic approach, we use the scriptures to study ourselves, to study our lives. You have to learn that yogic approach. And I cautioned him also. When you try to get into the yogic approach, your previous knowledge will come as a block. For example, we are saying prasadam adhigacchati. So he gets into a the state of prasadam. Now you've already studied the word prasadam and you may be having a superficial knowledge of that. Now all that previous knowledge will come and disturb you, will come as a block. It will not allow you to penetrate. So I told him, for a while, it may be a difficult pill to swallow, but you need to first understand that you're actually having no knowledge. You should consider yourself as a fresher, as if you're just now going to start the spiritual program. Now that was very difficult for him, because so many years he had put in that effort, very sincerely only. And now for him to say that I don't know anything, now let me start studying the Bhagavad Gita, was the most difficult thing. But no, he had so much of devotion, he had so much of faith. He said, okay, let me try it. And within a few weeks, he was very, very successful in practicing that, because as he got into the yogic approach, just through comparison, he was able to understand that whatever he thought as knowledge, whatever he thought he knew, was nothing compared to the depth which he was getting here, the hidden messages. And this is a message to all the other sadhaks also. It is not just an incident about that scholar who had come and met me. Every time, every Sunday when you are coming to listen, you should consider yourself as a fresher. You know, there was a great Siddha, a Tamil Siddhar. He said, Indru pirandom என்று நினை. இன்று பிறந்தோம் என்று நினைக்க வேண்டும். Means we should think that we were born today. Then you may ask me, so what about tomorrow? When you get into tomorrow, that will be your today. So think that you were born for that day. So every time you get into the verses, think that this is the first time. Don't listen to these lectures with a load of previous knowledge and information which you have gained. Then you will not do justice to these verses. You will not be able to eke out the deeper messages. Even when the deeper messages are given, you will not be able to absorb them. You will not be able to absorb the energy behind them. So when you absorb the energy behind these deep messages, and when you start transforming your life, two things will happen. Number one, the mind will become tranquil. The mind will start becoming peaceful. Number two, the intellect will become very, very sharp and clear. So tranquility of mind comes only through purification. When your mind is riddled with negative emotions, it cannot be peaceful. When your mind is full of positivity, then it calms down. So purity of mind and clarity of intellect, both are extremely important in spirituality. Some people say, I follow Bhakti Yoga. Others say, I follow Jnana Yoga. Some others say, I follow Karma Yoga. Now, only a person who does not have any depth will say that. There is nothing like should I follow Bhakti Yoga, or should I follow Jnana Yoga, or should I follow Karma Yoga and all these things. You have to follow yoga. That's all. Yoga means union, practicing union with the infinite. Now when you are acting, you will have to, it'll become Karma Yoga. When you're feeling, it will be Bhakti Yoga. If the sadhana I'm talking of. When you're thinking in a yogic way, it becomes Jnana Yoga. So everybody has to act, everybody has to feel, everybody has to think. So when you're using your breath to unite with the higher, it becomes Hatha Yoga. Breath means the pranic energy, I'm saying. So when you have a very superficial understanding of these things, that is when you try to take sides. See, the mind always wants to take sides. Is this correct or is that correct? It cannot see the total picture. Is Bhakti Yoga superior or is Jnana Yoga superior? Actually, in the next verse and then, next chapter and then the further chapters, Arjuna will ask this question. He will say, Krishna, if you consider that knowledge is superior to action, then why are you asking me to act? What should I do? Should I gain knowledge or should I act? Tell me very clearly. Now his understanding of the wisdom is very superficial. That is why he is asking that question. When we come there, we'll see it's amazing. The answer which Krishna gives is amazing. Again, all the messages which are all hidden have to be eked out. Then only you will receive the true power of this wisdom. So if you want to progress in spirituality, don't confine yourself to one aspect of this wisdom. You will have to follow everything in totality. No doubt you pick up something which inspires you and you start practicing it. But as you start practicing it, automatically you will get the strength and clarity to be able to practice the other aspects. Then don't leave that also. It is like, if you want to get a good body shape, you need to do the overall exercises. But what we want to do is we want to isolate a particular part and do only that. Like, for example, a person asks, many people actually ask, and it's sir, in yoga, are there any special kriyas with which we can reduce our tummy? Are there any special kriyas with which I can build this particular muscle? They ask these sort of questions. Now in yoga, we always take the integrated approach. That is why a yogi is comfortable with anyone. If you say, I am a Jnana Yogi, now he will give, the master will give you such profound wisdom that the so-called Jnana Yogi intellectual will get satisfied. If you say, no, I am a devotee, now the master will take you to such depths of devotion, whether it is in the form of bhajans or any form, and inspire you. If you say, no, I want to act, he'll give you very many tips to act efficiently. Now, what is it that the master is practicing? Is he a jnani? Is he a bhakta? Is he a karma yogi? He is none. He is just a yogi. A yogi is one who is always united with the infinite, and according to what the situation demands, he will keep on acting. He'll keep on responding. If the situation demands knowledge, he will give the subtlest knowledge. If the situation demands emotions, he'll give emotions there. The situation demands dynamism and action, he'll give that. The situation demands the control of prana, he will teach that. It's all just the context which matters. So if you want to reduce your tummy, you should not target only your abdominal muscles. It is your whole body together which you need to develop. Remember that. So purity of mind and clarity of intellect. A person who develops purity and makes his or her mind calm and also the intellect very sharp can achieve anything in life. See, if you want to achieve success in life, this is the basic thing which you need to develop. Even if you want to learn some new skill, if your mind is not tranquil, if your mind is not calm, and if your intellect is not sharp, you will not be able to learn that skill. Then you may ask me, how is it that there are some people who are agitated but they are still successful? That is because their agitations are relative compared to others. They have developed some kind of focus, some kind of control over their minds, which is obviously coming from the past efforts. But they have not mastered it as a science. It's more in comparison with others that they are successful. But have they achieved their 100% human potential? No. So this is a great opportunity for you to learn the entire science of life, the science of the individual, so that you can achieve your 100% potential. So what are the basic aspects? He is giving 2 aspects. There are many other aspects, but these 2 are very, very important aspects. In this context, he is explaining that. Number 1, he says, prasanna chetasaha. Prasanna chetasaha means the mind which is tranquil, a tranquil mind. I'll also give the other dimensions of prasanna, and the second aspect is buddhi paryavatishtate, the firm intellect. Again, paryavatishtate also has another dimension which will be very useful to you. But first, the basic meaning you should understand. So when you isolate this and only talk of calmness of mind or only talk of sharpness of the intellect, that is not okay. You should combine these 2 forces in your life. So when you do your sadhana properly, your mind will start calming down. I told you the 3 states, no? First state is your mind is in an unreactive state, that is tamas. The second state is the mind becomes agitated. And an agitated mind is far superior to an unreactive mind. And then the third state is where the mind starts settling down. The mind becomes very peaceful and calm. So similarly, the intellect also. The first stage is where you don't think at all, or you're very, very stubborn. Now, see, when we say a person is stubborn, it's not that the entire, in every aspect you will be stubborn. In certain aspects of life you will be stubborn. So you will have to locate that and overcome that. Stubbornness will not allow you to grow further in life because you will become close-minded. In Tamil there is a beautiful proverb. Taam pidicha muyalukku moone kaal, means some person has explained what is the stubbornness. How will that person behave? It is whatever rabbit which he has, he wants to prove to others that this rabbit has only 3 legs. Just because he has said the rabbit has 3 legs, somehow or other he will try to prove to others that it has only 3 legs. தாம் பிடிச்ச முயலுக்கு 3 கால். That is what is called as stubbornness. And then when you overcome tamas, you will encourage the rajas within you. You will become agitated. You will lose your balance, and you will become, intellect will become confused. You will have a lot of questions. That is also a stage in spirituality. At every level this will happen. And then you do the sadhana and you get into a perfect calm and tranquil state, and the intellect also becomes very sharp. So remember this, never neglect any aspect of your personality when it comes to self-development or spiritual development. Lopsided development will cause more problems. See, when you are eating food, the nutrition should be distributed to your whole body. Supposing your right arm alone takes all the nutrition and nothing is given to your left arm or the other parts of your body, the right arm will become very strong, but your overall health will deteriorate. So people who confine themselves to one aspect of the wisdom, like I gave you the example, I am practicing Jnana Yoga, I am practicing Bhakti Yoga, people who they become very, very restricted. Such people will no doubt reap some benefits, but that will be a lopsided benefit, and in the long run their overall spirituality will go away. That is why you require a guru, you require a master who will be able to help you absorb this wisdom in a total way, not in a restricted way. I am talking of a true master. Because just as there are infiltrations in everything today, even in spirituality, there are so many infiltrations today. The quality, the real quality of spirituality is going down. Just for the sake of gathering more following or for the sake of gathering more numbers, I'm finding some people cheapening this sacred knowledge. So a true sadhak will not fall a prey to all this, will not fall into all that trap. As long as your goal is very, very clear, your goal in life is to attain the self-realization, Sthita Prajna as he calls it, you will never ever waver. So, what is this prasanna chetasaha? So the first meaning of prasanna means tranquility, calmness of mind. Chetasaha means mind. Cheta means thinking, mind. See, in this context, it is the mind, because he is also talking of the buddhi separately. But sometimes you may find him using the word chetasaha to mean the intellect also in some of the scriptures. So you should understand the concept, not get caught up with words. So prasanna first means tranquility. That I have already explained. Now the second dimension of prasanna. Prasanna also means being pleased. Being delighted. That is what I told you. One is an unreactive mind that looks like a tranquil or calm mind. The difference between stage 1, that is unreactive mind, and stage 3 is this is also a factor which you can consider apart from whatever I gave you last week. A person who is in stage 3 is very pleased and delighted. He will have a very pleasant personality. A person who is tamasic, unreactive, they may look calm from outside, but that calmness will irritate others. Because he will not be doing whatever he has to do in life. It is a beautiful dimension of prasanna. So this is something which you need to develop. Become a very, very pleasing personality. You can become very pleasing to others only when you are pleased with yourself. Others will delight in your company when you are delighted within yourself. Now, how do you practice that? I will give you some sadhana tips. Being pleased with oneself comes from an understanding that you are a unique piece of creation. You have a certain uniqueness about you which no other person has. Even physically, if you take the hair color, the skin, your features, everything is so unique about you. Now, what the problem is, you compare yourself with somebody else and then you say, oh, that person is beautiful, I am not beautiful. All these things are your interpretations. See, we not only interpret and judge amongst ourselves, we also use the same judgment, we pass the same judgment with other creatures also. For example, if you take a nightingale, it sings. If you take a crow, now we don't consider it as pleasant. When somebody actually doesn't sing properly, we say, why are you singing like a crow? But if you observe a crow, the crow does not have any complex about being a crow. It is very happy being a crow. You are projecting the weakness of your mind, that is your complexes, on the crow, and then you talk as if the nightingale is superior and the crow is inferior. But the crow has no complex. The nightingale also has no complex. It does not have a pride that I can sing better. There is nothing like that. There is a uniqueness about every creature, everything in the world. It's not only you. If you take the mountains have a certain uniqueness. If you take the river has a certain uniqueness. In my travels, what I found is that when you go to a place which is full of trees and greenery, that is so beautiful, that has a very, very wonderful effect, But I've also seen the other side. When you go in the middle of a desert, and you see the desert area full of sand, that has its own beauty. It makes you very meditative. Both the environments are conducive for meditation. But when your mind is attached to one, you will think that this is beautiful, that is not beautiful. Everything which is there in this creation is so wonderful. Apply that principle to yourself also. You're also a part of this creation. So the moment you recognize that you are a part of this whole cosmos, this entire nature, then you will also become like a nightingale or a crow or or any other creature, there is a beauty. Whatever you are is so unique. So you become very, very pleased with yourself. You become so delighted in being yourself. The moment you start comparing yourself with others, then you will move away from the state of prasanna chetasaha. You will become very, very agitated. And the more you try to be like somebody else, the more agitated you will become. The crow never tries to sing like a nightingale. The nightingale never tries to sing like a crow or behave like some other bird. That is why they are all so peaceful. It is only a human being who was being given this choice of action, uses that choice in the wrong way and moves away from nature. So in spirituality, we exercise the same power of choice to again become a part of nature. What is it that divides you and this cosmos? It is your own ego. When you start dropping your ego, then that dividing line, which is actually not there, non-existent, it's an illusion, but your ego actually has projected the dividing line, which divides you and the world, you and nature. That dividing line disappears. You become so pleased and delighted. And when you are so pleased with yourself, what kind of vibrations will you be emitting? Such positive vibrations. Others will also start becoming very, very pleased with you. See, all these dimensions which I am giving you, when you start emitting those radiations, the others will also start absorbing that. When you're calm and composed, when you're tranquil, anybody who comes into your aura, that person's mind will also become tranquil. Similarly, being pleased and delighted. As I'm giving you the dimension, I'm also giving you the sadhana tips wherever it's required, because this will motivate you tremendously. Enough of being so harsh on yourself and thinking that everything is wrong with you. I'm not saying you should not grow spiritually or change for the better. That is tamasic. But to completely judge yourself and condemn yourself and feel low about yourself, or feel high, get into a superiority complex, that disturbs your peace of mind. So enough of all that. From this moment onwards, start practicing this sadhana. That is why I keep saying, even if you attend as a family, even if you attend as a couple, your relationship with the master is separate, your partner's relationship with the master is separate. Because you are unique in your way and your partner will be unique in his or her way. So what is applicable to you may not be applicable to the other person. So prasanna chetasaha means, number one, calm and being calm and tranquil. Number two, being totally pleased and delighted with oneself. And when you are pleased with this limited self and you keep doing your sadhana, slowly your self, your consciousness will go on expanding and it will become one with the infinite. That is when you get into the absolute state of prasanna. 100% being delighted. But you have to make a start. The next dimension of prasanna also means when something is propitiated, when something is soothed. That is when something is pacified, we say it is in a state of prasanna. So the moment we talk about soothing something or pacifying something, what does it mean? That something is not in a state of peace today. So today the mind is highly agitated. The mind is not in a state of rest. The moment we talk of rest, it gets into tamas, which is laziness, or it knows a state of being restless. But he says soothing the restless mind. That is prasanna. So when you do your sadhana, the yoga sankirtan, the Sunday discourses, yogic approach, the entire sadhana, whatever the master gives you, the energy, all that actually has a very soothing effect. Like a balm, when you have a lot of pain and then you apply a balm, you feel so nice. That feeling you will have. Actually, once you start putting in the effort, the consistency will develop very fast if you're sincere, because this wisdom, this energy has such a soothing effect that once you make a start, you will not want to skip it. See, once you develop this habit of this yogic approach every Sunday, attending these discourses, then you will look forward to the next Sunday. Why? Because it has such a soothing effect on your mind. So I'll give you a practical tip there. In life, you should pick up things which soothen your mind, which propitiates, which satisfies your mind, not that which triggers more agitations. A person has asked this question, Neha has asked this question in the YouTube comment section. She has asked, what about certain TV programs related to crime and violence? I don't know whether she mentioned violence, but I am only adding on. So those kind of programs, is it good to watch those kind of programs? This is the simple rule, Is that program, is it having a soothing effect on your mind, or is it agitating your mind further? Do you really think if you go on watching violence or crime and all these things, crime related programs, now that is going to have a peaceful effect on your mind? No. Your agitations will only increase. Your irritability in life will increase. Your tendency to look at the negative side of life will increase. Remember, supposing you're watching a movie or a TV serial. Now, whether it is a movie or TV serial or whether it's actually happening in real, is all one and the same with respect to spirituality. It is all to do with your mind's involvement. When your mind is involved in something, whether that is actually happening or whether that is happening on the screen, it's one and the same, because the energy which you will be emitting, the emotions which you will be going through, that is what matters. So apply this principle in life, apply this tip. Pick up things which will soothe your mind. whether it is the colors which you choose, whether it is the food which you eat. In the later chapter, in one of the chapters, 17th chapter, Krishna actually divides everything into sattva, rajas and tamas. Things which will soothe your mind, things which will agitate your mind, and things which will make you more tamasic. What kind of music are you listening to? Certain kind of music actually agitates you. It triggers a lot of agitations. Triggers means, see, when you do the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, the higher energy is in the process of cleaning up your deeper mind. I'm not talking of that. I'm talking of that kind of music which encourages your negative emotions to grow, to increase. That kind of those kinds of movies which will increase your negativity. So it is not enough if you just read this, prasanna means having a soothing effect. It is not enough. Now apply it in your life. It is a sadhana. All these principles are actually sadhanas for you to practice in life. Then the next dimension of prasanna is purity, being clear and pure. This I have mentioned it. Even last week I mentioned, and even today when I was explaining to you about the tranquility. The purity of mind alone gives you that calmness. That is also prasanna chetasa. You should not leave the sadhana till you attain that state of purity, like how a newborn baby is. A yogi becomes like a newborn baby, a fresh birth. A baby is so pure and innocent. A spiritually developed person also becomes very, very innocent. He or she becomes so childlike. It's such a beautiful quality. Anybody who's childlike is so attractive, The personality is so attractive. He or she becomes like a magnet, See, if there is a baby, now you feel like going and playing with the baby. You feel like, going to the baby and saying, choo-choo, you feel so nice. What is the baby doing? Nothing. It's just looking at you. The baby is so pleased with its existence. Unconsciously, every baby is in a state of prasanna. So pure and innocent, and so that has a magnetic attraction, So as you grow spiritually, you will find that your personal magnetism will increase. Why? Because you will start becoming childlike, very, very pure and clear, transparent. And then I will give you one more dimension of prasanna, which will be very useful to you. That is, prasanna also means being very kind disposition. That is prasanna. Always wanting to do good to others. The opposite of that is always wanting to put the other person down, always wanting to harm others. When I say harm others, it may be physical harm, it may be financial harm. The moment you feel jealous about someone, your intention is to harm that person. It is not yet manifested. Let us say a person has a lot of wealth and you feel jealous about the person. Now, what is that seed which is there within you? The tendency not to be kind towards that person. So being kindly disposed means you're oozing that love, and you're oozing with that love and kindness to everyone. Anyone who comes to you, you're always thinking, what can I do for that person? Now you may ask me, sir, if I constantly keep thinking about others, now who will think of me? Find out. Find out from history. Anybody who has worked for others, what has happened to such people? The whole society comes and takes care of that person. When you truly, when you think about the welfare of the other person, those vibrations will come back to you 1,000,000 times more, with more blessings. So being kind to others is not a weak quality. That doesn't mean you neglect yourself. That is not what is being said. Whenever you are interacting with others, try to be of some service. Service again doesn't mean you interfere with the other person. Sometimes people in the name of service, they go on giving advice to others. That is not seva. Service means, what I mean is making the other person happy. Sometimes if you keep quiet, the other person will be happy. In such situations, please keep quiet. One person asked me, sir, I feel like doing something for everyone. What should I do? I said, simply smile. Even smiling makes the other person cheerful, no? That itself is a seva. That is why prasanna means having a kind disposition. He is not talking of necessarily the acts of kindness. Of course, if you have a kind disposition, it will come out as acts of kindness. But in certain cases, like a doctor gives an injection to a patient, that looks like an act of cruelty, but that is also prompted by a kind disposition only. For the patient's benefit, he may do it. So a master sometimes may be stern with the student. That is for the student to grow. So the intention, your mental disposition should always be of kindness, he says. And when you are kind to others, that energy comes back to you as a blessing. When you always think in terms of others' welfare, you will grow automatically in life. If you help people to achieve their goals, your goals will automatically also get achieved, because you will receive help from others wherever it's required. If you cooperate with others, others will also cooperate with you. If you give happiness to others, they will also give happiness to you. If you are constantly criticizing others and complaining about others, then what will you get in life? Just think. So, prasanna chetasaha means being very, very kindly disposed towards entire humanity. And why only humanity? Towards all the other creatures. Someone asked me, sir, what is your opinion about being kind to cows? I said, why only cows? Human beings, cows, all the creatures. So if I'm kind to a cow, but I'm unkind to a bird, will you say that? The moment we talk of kindness in the ancient wisdom, it is kindness towards everyone, every creature, everything in life. Kindness towards nature. That is prasanna chetasaha. So these dimensions, when you start practicing, they will make you a very, very powerful and peaceful personality. They will make you so immensely, so calm that your personal magnetism will increase. Your aura will start expanding. And then he says, Buddhihi paryavatishtate. So I'll give you a couple of dimensions for paryavatishtate, which will be very, very useful in your sadhana. So the first dimension is the buddhi, the intellect becomes firm. Firm means firm in your decision making. Your intellect is able to decide firmly. See, you're always indecisive in life. Should I do this or should I not do this? It is a perennial problem which people have. So in life you should learn to decide. Again, when I say deciding, it is decision based on knowledge. The intellect is sharp, not impulsive decisions. So paryavatishtate, the buddhi become paryavatishtate means it becomes very, very firm and decisive. You see any master, a yogi, he is very decisive when it comes to principles. How is it that a yogi has no stress? Because he is very decisive in life. If you are indecisive, that will agitate your mind. So 95 to 98% of things basically if you analyze, you can decide. It is only that those few things in life where you may need to analyze more, certain very, very important decisions in life, and then decide. But you waste your energies in being indecisive. You see this side, you see that side. There is no end to that. The second dimension of paryavatishtate is steadiness. Buddhihi paryavatishtate means your intellect should be very steady. Once you fix a goal in life, once you have surrendered to a master, and the master also gives you the path, now you will have to practice that in a steady way. The tendency today is for the intellect to get distracted. That is why I keep saying patience is the key. So the more steady you are in your life, in whatever it is that you have chosen, the more successful you will be. You find out, you read the life history of any successful person, they would have taken up that one thing or two things in life, fixed a clear-cut goal, and then they would have steadily pursued that. Whatever challenges may have come in their lives, they wouldn't have lost that steadiness of intellect. That alone would have given them success. Find out. So the same principle you also need to follow now. The sadhana of decision making and the sadhana of being steady in whatever you choose. Especially in the spiritual field, it is very important to stick to one thing properly. You surrender to the master, and whatever the path is being shown to you, you follow it in a steady way. That alone will give you success. So number one, firmness. Number two, steadiness. And the third aspect, the third dimension of paryavatishtate also I'll mention. Paryavatishtate means expanding and filling, pervading. So today your intellect is actually very limited. It doesn't fill everything. What do we mean by expanding and filling? First I'll explain the concept and then I'll give you the sadhana tip. The intellect's role is to discriminate, discriminate in the sense differentiate. This is black, this is white, this is this object, this is that object. It goes on differentiating. Now you are using the intellect to differentiate so many things in the world. But when you do sadhana, the intellect will start growing. Your thinking will become so deep that you will start differentiating between what is permanent and what is impermanent in life. What will give you the true happiness and what will give you temporary happiness. So the intellect will start becoming so subtle, it's called Sukshma Buddhi, that it will get connected with the infinite. And the infinite is something which pervades everything, which fills everything. So the intellect by itself cannot fill everything, but it can get you connected. The Sukshma Buddhi, when developed, it can get you connected to that factor, that infinite, which pervades everything, which fills everything. The moment we talk of infinite or God, God is present everywhere. So, buddhi paryavatishtate means the nature of the intellect is to differentiate, but it goes on differentiating in the world. In spirituality, you start differentiating between the higher and the lower within you. And the more you are able to see the difference, the more your consciousness will start getting attached to the higher, and you will move closer and closer to that infinite, which is all pervading, which fills everything. When you use the intellect only to differentiate in the world, that goes on causing differences. When you use the same intellect, the Sukshma Buddhi, when you make it subtle and use it to differentiate between the higher and the lower, you will, your consciousness will expand. You will become one with that infinite. All differences will disappear. So today, you're using the intellect to manipulate. You're manipulating with others, you're manipulating with situations. Instead, use your intellect to expand. This is a sadhana tip which is being given. Whenever you get into a feeling that I know it all, your intellect is restricting you. Ask yourself, have I become that infinite? Am I greater than God? Please don't say yes. Then I will not know how to proceed. Because that's what Ravana said, See, Ravana also said, Aham Brahmasmi, I am only Brahman. But he said that was his ego talking. So whenever you are caught up with something, you're so close-minded, ask yourself, do I really know everything? There's a beautiful saying where that Siddhar says, Kattradu kaiman alavu, kalladadu ulagalavu. Means whatever you have learnt is only like some mud which you have taken in your palm. This much you have taken, that's all. But what you have to learn is to the level of to the quantity of the world, the cosmos. So you need to practice that. That is very, very important in the yogic approach to always keep this this feeling of the intellect alive. That is wanting to know more, wanting to understand more. The moment you feel that, yes, I have understood it, that's it, over, your learning will stop. So intellect should go on filling you. It should help you to expand your personality. Whenever you get caught up with some ideology, then that your personality gets restricted. I belong to this caste, for example. The moment your intellect gets attached there, thereafter you will start differentiating people who are outside this caste, people who are within this caste. So your whole world becomes very narrow. It is not expansive. Then your intellect can get caught up with, I belong to this country. Patriotism is different. But when your intellect gets stuck there and it becomes very restricted, thereafter you start seeing anybody as one who belongs to this country or outside this country. Again, there is a difference, there is a restriction. The intellect can get attached to a particular language. This is my mother tongue. The moment it gets attached, love for your mother tongue is okay. Will really, it's a great feeling. But the moment you get restricted with it, then you see everyone else as those who speak your language or those who do not speak your language. You are not able to go beyond that boundary. So like this, if you see, even religion can be restrictive. I belong to this particular religion. The moment the intellect gets stuck there with that ideology, then it becomes restrictive. It is the opposite of paryavatishtate. You start seeing people as those people who belong to my religion and those who are outside my religion. It causes a difference. That prasanna will go away, that kindness, kind disposition will go away. See, whenever your intellect restricts you with that ideology, you will be kind to people who are inside your circle, but you will be unkind to people who are outside your circle. If you are attached to your religion, then to those people who are outside that religion, you will not develop any love and affection. So, true spirituality is dropping all these differences, using the same intellect, make it more and more subtle. And the more subtle the intellect becomes, it understands that all these differences are only at the superficial level. Ultimately, you differentiate between God and the world, and that supreme God is present everywhere, inside you and outside you. So, buddhihi paryavatishtate means the intellect expands your personality when you do sadhana properly. And you don't get restricted to anything in the world. Slowly, all your restrictions, your limitations, you will drop all your limitations. They will all go away. And you will truly become universal. Sitting right in your room, your feeling will be of one of love and compassion and kindness towards the entire humanity, towards all the creatures. What amount of power it has, So these two qualities, if you develop, prasanna chetasaha and buddhihi paryavatishtate, they will make you a very powerful personality. Everything which you do will have so much of power. Every word which you utter will start influencing others, and you will never misuse that power, because the very power has come from becoming pure, prasanna only. So why would you misuse? But if you acquire the powers without developing these two qualities, that is when the chances of misuse are there. Okay, so we'll stop today. We'll do some meditation. I'll be invoking the higher healing Shakti, and we'll do the Nididhyasana principle. I'll use the Nididhyasana principle to install these dimensions of Prasanna Chetasaha and Buddhi Paryavatishtate in the deeper layers of your mind. Why I'm doing that every week, the Nididhyasana process, is because when the higher healing Shakti is invoked and when the Nididhyasana is done with the master, it will become very easy for you to practice it in your life. To do it by yourself, that is going to take time, but this will be of a great help to you all. Okay, so sit in a relaxed position. Keep your spine straight and gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. Breathe in a very, very relaxed way. Effortless and deep breathing. With every breath, feel your mind getting into a state of total tranquility, prasanna. I let go of all my stress and agitations. I am in a state of prasanna, total peace and calmness. I choose to be completely pleased and delighted with myself. I am one with the nature, a unique part of this creation. From this moment onwards, I choose to pick up things in life which have a soothing effect on my mind. I am experiencing total purity and tranquility. I choose to always think about the welfare of everyone around me. My intellect is very firm I am a very powerful decision maker. Whatever goals I fix in life, I steadily pursue them. I surrender to my Guru and I choose to steadily follow the path shown by my Guru. I choose to dissolve all the differences and limitations within me and become one with that Supreme Being, the Infinite. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today I have used the Nididhyasana process. I had increased the energy a little bit so that these two qualities, the prasanna of the mind and paryavatishtate, with respect to the intellect, both these are installed in the deeper layers of your personality. So the seeds would have been installed. Now for those seeds to start growing and producing fruits in your life, you need to do your sadhana. So remember, the help which the Master gives will be a big boost in your path. But a Master's help can never be a substitute for your efforts. Then that will amount to tamas, if you're merely receiving the healing and not doing the sadhana. If you're doing only the sadhana and not taking any help from the Master, you're not receiving the higher Shakti, that will also be useless. It will only develop ego. So the combination is what you should practice. Before we close, there is a small announcement regarding the empowerment program in April. So more things have been revealed to me in the meditation. So there's going to be a slight change in the program. It will not be for 3 days. This time the Yoga Sankirtan empowerment program will be for 5 days. We're going to have a very special opening meditation day, which will be a meditation for preparing you to receive the blast of energy which will happen during the empowerment, because this year there will be a further increase of the energy. So that will be the first day. Day 1 will be the preparation, but that itself will cause a lot of healing. That is very important, because suddenly when the energy blast is given, you will find it difficult to handle it. And then the second day will be the Nirvana Shatkam empowerment. Third day will be the Sri Haridhyana empowerment. The fourth day will be the Nirvana Mahashivadhyana empowerment. And then the fifth day will be the closing meditation and healing. So, a special healing session will be conducted, so that the energy which has been awakened settles down. You also settle down with the energy. So this will be from April 19th to 23rd. So please note the change of dates from April 19th to 23rd. This will be for between 1.5 hours to maximum of 2 hours every day. So if any other preparation is required, I'll keep telling you as we move along. So I'm sure all of you are doing your sadhana diligently. Continue with that. The more you do that, the more prepared you will become to receive the higher grace. Okay? So thank you very much. Hari Om.